yes. Welcome to the Work Show where all we do is talk about work. I am your host, Trey Tuck. Welcome. Hope everybody's been doing good. This is episode 34, and we're going to dive into a few things today. But most important of all, I hope everybody out there is doing well. I hope everybody is feeling healthy, feeling full, whether that's with food, whether that's with spirit, whether that's with the people you're surrounding yourself by. I just hope that everybody is getting what they need out there. And for the people that aren't getting what you need, make sure you are asking for those things, reaching out to people, and essentially working to get what you need. The world is real wicked right now. There's a lot of things going on. We're gonna touch into some of them. There's a lot of things going on as no real surprises as the people that are prepared know. There's no surprise in the things that are happening today. But before we get into the topics, I will say that simply just the amount of consumption that we do on a day-to-day basis when it comes to information, whether it comes to topics, just news, entertainment, music, we're getting such a heavy dose of all this stuff that it can be too much at times. And I'm here to tell you, sometimes if you're unable to disconnect like myself, because I have to do these I don't have to do. Let me reframe it. I love doing these podcasts and I love learning new things, but at the same time, you have to find a way to take a step back. You have to find a way to consume less, especially in a society where everything is being thrown at you. You have TikTok, you have Instagram, you have Facebook. So this is your daily reminder to consume less. The weather out up north is starting to get nicer. Step outside, go to the gym, think positive thoughts. All of those things are meant to help you on your day-to-day basis. And I'm not saying this as some type of I know it all, because I don't, right? I struggle with certain things and still finding clarity and, coming to resolve with some of my past issues. I struggle with all that stuff. But the one thing that I've been working on was working towards a better day for me. What does a better day look like? When I wake up in the morning, what are some of the things that I want to accomplish? What are some of the things I want to tackle? And even on days where I don't feel like doing it because I'm doing a lot, make sure I tell myself this is what you wanted to do. So for those people that are having a hard time, maybe unplugging, maybe you're a creator, maybe you're a writer, or just a person that just likes to listen to podcasts, if you're out there and you can hear me, just know the best thing to do is sometimes take a step back. Most times we're so close to something that we don't realize maybe how far we've came, or we just don't realize what the big picture is because we're so close, right? So when you take a step back and you look and you see some of the stuff that maybe you've done as progress, or some of the stuff you didn't do, or some of the reasons why you didn't do, whatever it is, I'm here to tell you that take a step back, right? Take a step back and look at some of the stuff you did and be appreciative, and make sure you know how you might have a kid, there might be a kid on the street, or just not even a kid on the street, but a kid that is playing a sport and maybe they're down on themselves and they don't feel accomplished. And as an adult, I would hope you go over there and you encourage the kid. Hey man, but you did this, you came this far. Start doing that with yourself. Start doing that to the point where you're encouraging yourself. The reason why I created Workaholics was because the tank is always on E when you have to do it. So let me explain. The tank starts on E and it's up to you to move it. There's nobody else that can move that meter for you. It starts with you, your E, your effort, your energy, and your enthusiasm. So keep that in the back of your mind when you're going through things, or life might not feel how it's supposed to feel. It's a change in the season, so we're shedding old skin and we're kind of opening up. As far as how I've been, what's been up with me, what's been new, just this, man. I've a helped create a sports podcast where it's called The Hate Watchers, where we get in there and we talk about sports, right? And it's all going to be under the Work Network. And we're going to keep those two podcasts. We're going to start trying to have them alternate each other. So I just kind of talked to my guys and I figured out the days that we're going to do this. So the Work show, this show, which is just me, and it's going to be, I'll have guests, I'll interview people, et cetera, et cetera. Not necessarily a primary sports show, but just the all encompassing podcast. We're gonna work to have the audio out on Monday, and the video out on Tuesday. So that's gonna be the change. It was Saturdays. Now we're gonna switch it around to where we're going to have the Hate Watchers on Thursdays and the video on Friday, or Friday, Saturday, one of the two. So just keep that in motion. I'm figuring it out. I'm editing. I'm putting all this stuff together. So it's been very fun. Without further ado, let's get to episode 34 though, because I think some of the stuff I stumbled upon in the week has been just ridiculous, right? Like, we're always going to start with what's going on in the local areas, right? And if you're from the local area, everyone all around the world protested, the country protested to No King's Day. And where is that at? Where the heck is NPR at? What the fasheezes? Oh, here it is. Everyone in the country protested for No King's Day, right? Large cities, small cities. This is based off of NPR, and this is NPR. This is not NPR Connecticut, but it's just NPR in general, National Public Radio. Photos protest across the country of No King's Day. In large cities, small towns across the country, millions took to the streets today to protest. This was on March 28th. The protest against the policies of President Trump and his administration, organized by No Kings, a network of progressive groups opposed to the administration's agenda. The protests are the third wave of demonstrations since the president took office for a second term. The third wave, that's kind of crazy. Last year, millions attended the protest in June, again in October. So here's some pictures. They did that. They protested in Connecticut. Oh, this is it right here. Hartford at the Capitol. And they signed a banner that says "We the People." It's based off Connecticut Republic. This picture is in Idaho, and it's just everyone that is out there protesting against tyrants and kings, man. There's been a lot of displeasure with this current administration and how they're handling things from the people that didn't like him. But now you're starting to see some of his biggest supporters turn against him because of what he's doing in the war with Israel, with ICE, with how they're treating immigrants, how they're saying that migrants or people that have birthright citizenship, the TSA most recently, where TSA was on strike because of I'm actually not sure. I think it was a payment issue. They wanted to be paid more, and then he had to write a law and propose it so people were able to get paid, TSA workers. But the country's in an uproar, man. I think the war in Iran essentially put it off. People been asking for Epstein, so this is a picture that says it's all about Epstein. America is a democracy, no kings, et cetera, et cetera. This is Times Square. Times Square was flooded. Holy crap. Just imagine. It's okay to hope. It's okay to hope. You can change your mind. Leave it all behind. So I guess from these pictures, which are really cool to see people in action, the main takeaway for me is this last one right here, where it says, "It's okay to hope you can change. Leave your mind. It's okay to change your mind. Hope you can leave it all behind." I think that's how it's supposed to go. This is in St. Paul, Minnesota, which was all the two people who were killed through ICE. This is where essentially it started. here's my thing. This is what I think is important to take away from this No King's Day for the people that don't care. I mean, the people that are, outright Trump supporters. Listen, I'm not here to tell people how to vote, whatever. This is not that type of podcast. I just give my opinions because I feel like whatever I'm saying sometimes makes sense. You know what I'm saying? I do have knowledge. I'm not a politician, but neither is your president. So it really doesn't matter, right? We can't have expectations of people who are speaking on politics more than we could have for the person that's running the country. But that's neither here nor there. I think the biggest takeaway is this, right? If you voted for this dude twice, I would hope this time around you start to see that maybe it wasn't the best choice. Maybe you thought he was going to get in office and change things, and you're realizing that he's not. You got in there thinking that maybe he was going to do the America first, but he's not, right? The biggest complaint people had was about, it was about Clinton and Clinton's files and the emails and Epstein Island. But when this guy got in office and he said he ran for all those things, said he was going to run on all those principles, and he did not, right? We still don't know what's going on with Epstein. That's all people wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying? Instead, he decided to start a war with Israel in Iran. Telling someone earlier, committing war crimes like blowing up a school with 175 girls in it because they had false intel. To now, we're starting to deploy troops on the ground, and Iran has been making videos that I don't know if it's the prime minister or their new Ayatollah, I'm not really sure, so don't quote me on that, but they're just making videos saying it will be an absurd mistake for America to put ground troops because we're trained here. And we're fighting in the Middle East, which has never really been friendly for our American troops. So as a person that just wants love and peace, sometimes war has to happen, and I get it. But if war can be avoided, you avoid it because of the damage that it causes, right? You're setting these people back for years on end, and there's no foreseeable end to when it's supposed to be because they're deploying more soldiers and they're spending more money. So again, back to our wonderful Iran cost ticker. Look, so again, we went over this, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse, right? But let's look at the cost. This is 30 days. So for 30 days, it's been about $1 billion a day, right? $36 billion has been spent on this whole thing. This is in 1 month, right? It started February 28th. So it's at the end of February it started. U.S. service members killed 13, wounded 300. Iranian military, 5,000 killed, including senior leadership. And Iranian civilians, 1,500 plus killed and 20,000 wounded. 175 at the Shiraj Tayyibeh Girls School in Manab, mostly girls aged 7 to 12, and staff paying at the pump. The national average now is $3.95. That's $3.98. That's a whole dollar. Gas is currently $108.79 per barrel. It jumped the average nearly jumped 27 cents in a week. Excuse me. This is breaking down everything, and we don't have to rehash it, but it's just simple to think, as a person that may have supported this guy, as a person that may have thought he was going to make the right choices, he hasn't. So it's very important when we get into November to make sure you're voting and voting for what's right, not what you think is right, voting for what's right. Because what we're understanding here in this historical moment in time is that politicians are all liars, right? So are businessmen. And me personally, I would trust somebody in their field than I would trust somebody who came over here and ran under a guise of I'm not like that. Or you're not. But at the same time, you're not even that. You can't go, I can't just be like, hey, I want to be a doctor. And now I'm a doctor just because I say it. You have to really, you really have to play the game. So, you know, a lot of Trump supporters were really just simply saying like they didn't like politicians. They felt lied to, the Clintons, this, that, and the third. Information's being shared. But this guy's doing the same thing, and he's a businessman, which means he's really profiting off of this. But let's look up this part of the. This is a tweet from the Kobisi letter, and I have the actual article here, but it says Iran has drafted legislation to create the Hormuz Law, which is expected to create a formal toll system for the Strait of Hormuz. Preliminary details include a Hormuz Law to introduce fees on navigation and pollution in the strait. Draft legislation also includes creation of a regional fund. The move is seen as an attempt to formalize long-term tolls on global shipping routes. The U.S. has called these tolls on the Strait of Hormuz both illegal and unacceptable. The Strait of Hormuz situation is becoming even more complicated, which tells us that this war is not ending anytime soon. The Strait of Hormuz, for if anybody hasn't been paying attention or you've been under a rock, that is where majority of our global oil comes from, imports, exports, right? And if Iran is blocking it, then it is not getting to where it needs to go, which is making oil scarce, which is very, very bad for our pockets. Because I was driving down the street the other day and I saw gas that was $4.69 and this was 87. It's gonna get crazy. I actually remember there used to be in Woket. If anybody's from Connecticut, and Woket near the strip club near Rockstar, there used to be a gas station over there, and it used to have the price. I don't know if it's still there, but I think the price was like $5 or $4, and I believe it's been up there since like the George Bush Jr. era. And we're getting up there, bro. We're getting up there. You know, California is about $6 something, but California is always expensive. But over here, $4 or $5 for gas? Excuse me, you're not getting any miles for that, you know. But Iran has a demand to end the war, and it could bring in billions. When Iranian officials this week laid out a list of demands to end the war started by the U.S. and Israel, he added an item that hadn't been on Tehran's list before: recognition of Iran's sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway through which a fifth of the world's oil. Let me read that again. The narrow waterway through which a fifth of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas ordinarily pass has emerged as the Islamic's most potent weapon, and it is now seeking to turn it into a source of potentially billions of dollars in annual revenue. Iran has long threatened to close the strait in case of an attack, but few expected it to follow through, or for it to prove so effective in disrupting global trade flows. Because, guys, this is affecting everybody globally. This isn't like a U.S. thing. It's like everybody that has something to do with this strait. Everybody's benefiting, and that's why starting this war was stupid in the first place. But let me keep reading. The scale of the impact appears to expanded Tehran's ambitions, with new demands suggesting it is seeking to turn that leverage into something more durable. And just for those who know, the Strait of Hormuz is only 24 miles wide and at its narrowest point. So 24 miles wide at its narrowest point. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm tired, guys. Shipping through the choke point. We're not going to read that. Iran has been a little taken aback by how successful its Hormuz strategy has been, by how cheap and how comparatively easy it is to hold the global economy stage, said Dina Esfandari, Middle East. I'm sorry, man. These names are I always butcher these shits. Middle East led at Bloomberg Economics. One of the lessons learned in the war is that it has discovered this new leverage and it's likely to use it again in the future. And I think monetizing it is a part of discovering that this has leverage. Let me talk to y'all for a second. Do you know how bad it is? Do you know how bad it is to not start a war, for your opponents to misplay their hands, right? And you realize that there's a loophole or you have an advantage. Bro, sometimes stuff like that creates monsters, creates animals, creates people to turn into savages, right? And the sad part is they didn't start this. They didn't start it. They had another day to negotiate, so it wasn't like, you understand? It wasn't like they were stalling. Granted, what there's been multiple reports. Some reports were saying that what Iran was offering to do was unacceptable, and then others were like Iran was offering to give up all their nuclear weapons, right? Who knows what the truth is other than the people in that room, because most times people are pushing propaganda, but the point remains is Iran has found a trick that not only holds us hostage, the U.S., but also holds the whole world hostage. And if you think about it, you do the math, right? This is conspiracy brain now, right? You do the math, and Iran is backed by who? Do we know? Iran is backed by Russia and China, two of the biggest conglomerates. Russia and China have not had to get involved. The U.S. is using all their resources to blow this up and drone strike this and do that. And Russia and China are just sitting back like, okay, you guys are spending billions of dollars. Again, we spent $36 billion. People are being deployed, which means the war is going to last longer. They said it was only going to be like a couple weeks. Now it's going to be 6 to 8. But the thing is this, we don't know, because as soon as you deploy troops, it's a wrap. They deployed some like last weekend, and they deployed another 4,500. It's getting up there. Whether they're going there to capture the island, I don't know the name of the island, or not, it doesn't really matter. It matters that now we're putting more people in jeopardy when all this could have been resolved. Something to think about for the people out there that may be on the fence, may not be on the fence. Just think about it as, oh, we voted for something. We're not getting what we want. I want off this train. You don't have to be attached to this dude. You don't have to be attached to this dude just because you feel like you're making a point. You could just be wrong, admit you're wrong, and move forward, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking. But let's move into some tech. All right, so we have some. Well, I mean to click the script. We have some interesting tech things we have today, right? This one right here. It says, Justin AI cow collar startup Halter raises $2 billion valuation, uses proprietary algorithm to herd cattle. Farmers pay $5 to $8 per month. A New Zealand company puts a solar smart collar on cows. It tracks location 24/7, health, temperature, chewing, activity, breeding. Farmers just simply open the app, draw a line on the map, and that map becomes a fence. As a cow approaches the boundary, the collar beeps and vibrates. With one tap, the whole herd moves to fresh grass or the milking shed. No physical fences, less labor, huge cost savers for farmers. Already on 700,000 cows across New Zealand, Australia, and the U.S., and is now in talks to raise a $2 billion valuation led by Peter Thiel. So let's watch this video.
Our new venture into virtual fence with Halter. Halter works by sending a series of signals to a collar that the cow wears. Provides feedback to your smartphone so you can see where those cows are on an app. You can draw in fences with the click of a button. You can move your cows into that part of your pasture and graze for as long as you wish. The halter collar is solar powered, and so it is really sealed. There's not a weak point for water to enter, and it worked. It's better for the animals, better for our bottom line, and better for our mental health. Our new venture into virtual.
How do y'all feel about that? I have mixed feelings. I have mixed feelings about it, because I feel like for a farmer that sounds great, right? Like that sounds awesome. But for most times, what people do, right? When you do makeup, you test it on animals. When you know, products, hair, soap, they're not supposed to, but some companies use animals to test it, right? And my thing is this: an AI cow collar, that's great, but what happens when those AI collars become collars that can be placed on humans? Or what happens when they first try it to humans? Remember, tech people, they already started putting chips in people. So, you don't necessarily need a collar, right? Or, you have your Apple Watch, you have those Aura rings, you have all these different things where you could be tracked. If it's hacked, if someone decided to hack those things, they can track your exact location, right? So, what happens when those things get hacked and unknowingly to cows don't speak. They speak in their own form of language, but they're not as intelligent as humans are. So it's like, what happens when you decide to um hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. What happens when they decide to put that stuff on you? Right? Like what is your response? What's your response gonna be? Because it's probably gonna happen at some point. They're already doing it. I mean, they can already track everything with your phones, your keys, your da 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 da. Da. But what happens when those things are starting to be used on humans? Because that's all this is, if you ask me. This is just a soft rollout for um technology that could be used on humans. So most people like it. I'm sure if you're a farmer, you enjoy it. But for me, seeing stuff like this, it's like kind of like how the Ring camera was, where you can where they had the commercial where it was called like the dog watch, and then that you could other people could tap into they could tap into your Ring camera to see where if their dog is there. Like it's like, all right, bro, we could see what you're doing. The all seeing eye, we know what the fuck is going on. Like so, it just kind of makes you wonder, some of these things and puts a few things into question. But something that I thought was pretty cool. Um another interesting. I'm gonna skip that one. I don't really want to talk about it because we kind of know we're being surveilled. There was something called Flock, and Flock basically. Well, you know what? Let's go through it. Let's go through it. I think it's interesting. Let's go through it. Let's go through it. This lady was very informative, and she kind of put me on to what the hell this is.
Should the images captured by 80,000 cameras surveilling Americans 24/7 be available to the public? That is a Flock safety camera. I covered this Orwellian program for Reason last year, and a lot has changed. Flock's automatic license plate readers use artificial intelligence to gather data on every passing vehicle, from damage and decals to license plates and bumper stickers. Cameras snap 6 to 12 photos per car, and they even capture who's driving. Then all those photos get uploaded into a giant shared database, which can be accessed by law enforcement and government agencies. Because Flock says when everyone contributes, cases get solved. Photos are stored for 30 days and then get deleted. And the cameras aren't cheap. In Washington State, Spokane Valley spent $500,000 on 26 cameras. Stanwood paid $92,000 for 14 cameras covering 3 square miles.
That's crazy.
And Yakima, which has a large migrant population, used $600,000 in funds from the American Rescue Plan Act to purchase theirs. Flock previously said the cameras are prohibited for immigration enforcement where it's against state or local law.
But see, that's where it's tricky, because it's like you could say that as a Flock. What stops federal agencies from hacking this database if it's available to them? They would just use it and then just say they didn't use it, like what all government agencies do. Until you're able to prove that this person did something illegal, then you can't say that's illegal. So like you can, if you're an ICE agent or one of these fucking, dun-da-duns, like you can be like, well, we saw you through the neighborhood. Like this is very sketchy.
But
that was a lie.
Florida used a nationwide surveillance camera network of 250 times to aid in immigration arrest. Right. So what happens to the people that are captured? Do they get mistrials? You know what I'm saying? They don't. They just end up going and getting processed in the system. Again, the whole immigration, the whole ICE thing was to capture violent criminals, violent, illegal criminals. And they're just capturing people who are undocumented, paying taxes, and it's like bad. But this type of surveillance kind of goes back to our AI cow thing, where it's like, if we could track you everywhere you go, which they've already been doing because we all have phones, but if we can verbally tell you that we're tracking you anywhere you go, then it's like, what kind of freedom do you actually have? You know?
Today, they have cameras in 6,000 communities across 49 states, and flock cameras read 20 billion plates per month. So
that's insane.
It's no surprise people like Jose Rodriguez started to take notice. He saw them pop up in Walla Walla, where he worked, did some research, and couldn't believe all the data gathered. He described it as being watched by a bunch of prison guards. So because not all heroes wear capes, he filed public records requests wanting flock photos and data from 50 public agencies across the state. Public records are any media or communication from a government agency that involves government business, but there are some exceptions for intelligence information. Now, most agencies complied with the request, but the 10 cities who didn't, Rodriguez sued, wanting $100 per day per record. Flock responded by calling the lawsuit a bogus way to make money and advocated for a legislative fix to Washington's Public Records Act. Gee, I wonder why. While all this was happening, cities like Redmond, Linwood.
So out in Connecticut, there's actually a bunch of these flock cameras, and I forgot what the website was. I think it's like flock.com or something like that. You could see exactly where they're at and how they're positioned. It's kind of crazy.
And Mount Lake Terrace turned off their flock cameras. Then Stanwood and Cedro Woolley, two holdouts, filed a motion to exempt flock footage from the Public Records Act. They tried several different arguments, and according to their attorney, releasing the
I like that this girl is in like different areas doing this whole thing, this whole TikTok, but this is like a legit article. This is beautiful. I think the way she put it together was very palatable, and it just puts it in perspective, man. Like, we're all being watched, and the people that are watching you don't give two fucks. Like, they don't give a fuck about your rights.
Images would violate people's privacy.
And isn't it ironic?
But a Skagit County Superior Court judge disagreed. Because the footage is used by law enforcement agencies, it can be requested by anyone.
Crazy.
Now agencies must store all flock data before it's deleted. And in response to the ruling, one county turned off all their flock cameras, calling it a threat to public safety. So what the flock does this mean for the future of mass surveillance?
I think what it means is we are in dangerous times, ladies and gentlemen. We're in we're in unprecedented times. It's like all this stuff kind of runs into each other, because look at the next topic that I had. All of this runs into each other. The next topic I had was Apple and their decision to bring ads to maps. Yo, in an effort to boost revenue from its growing service business. It's like, dog, what app do you possibly need where you're traveling and the person has it open and it's running ads? Can't wait to miss my exit because Apple Maps was too busy showing me a 30-second ad. Ridiculous, man. Everything isn't about profit. Some of these things I felt should be just built in the phone. Like, you know, why would you have ads on something that is built into the phone? But, you know, I digress. Just kind of crazy. This is another one, right? Again, we're into just like crazy laws and crazy rules that are happening. So we have this right here, a proposed law. Because when I first read this, I didn't know if it was true or not, but this is actually true. So a new proposed law may force New Yorkers to turn their outdoor lights off by 11 p.m. A proposed Dark Skies Protection Act would curb light pollution by requiring certain outdoor lights to shut off overnight. I don't know if that's safe, but we're going to keep reading. A proposed law called Dark Sky Protection Act could soon require many outdoor lights to shut off after 11 p.m. Part of the broader effect to cut light pollution The legislation was introduced in the New York State Senate by Senator Brad Holyman Segal and several co-sponsors and would regulate outdoor lighting statewide from residential floodlights and building up lighting to spotlights and billboards. The goal is to preserve and enhance the state's dark sky while promoting safety for people, birds, and okay. Under the proposal, this is the juicy part right here. Oh shoot! What the heck just happened? What in the fashizzis? Where's it at? Where is it? Okay. All right. Under the proposal, outdoor. Is this a video on it? No. Under the proposal, outdoor lighting fixtures that don't meet the new design standards would have to be turned off between 11 p.m. and sunrise, unless they are motion-activated lights that automatically shut off within 15 minutes. Basically, that permanently blazing backyard floodlight or decorative building spotlight might have to go dark overnight. The bill would also require most outdoor light fixtures installed in New York to be shielded, meaning the light must be directed downward rather than upward into the sky. Don't worry, Times Square won't suddenly look like a blackout scene from a disaster movie. The legislation includes a long list of exemptions. Lighting required for airports, highways, construction sites, emergencies, and certain safety uses would still be allowed. Seasonal decorative lights and small low wattage fixtures also may be exempt. Additionally, outdoor sports venues could keep lights on past 11, only long enough to finish the game already in progress. Holy crap, this is kind of crazy. If the measure becomes law, the new requirements would take effect January 1st, 2028, giving property owners several years to update light fixtures and install motion sensors. Supporters say the push is about more than just seeing stars. Artificial nighttime lighting has been linked to bird migration disruption, wasted energy, sleep disturbance. New York City alone, New York's wouldn't be the first place to try it. Cities like Tucson, Arizona, and Flagstaff have long enforced. All right, so here we go. I read all that. Hopefully you guys got what you got from it. And this was in the wrong thing, but hopefully you guys got what you got from that. All right, here's my thing. I get it. I get like you kind of want your you want your night sky, but New York is the city of lights. Not only that, but without the lights in New York, that shit could be dangerous, man. It's not like a Tucson, Arizona, and that's kind of a false parallel because Tucson, Arizona, although it's great, it's not 24/7 like New York is. New York is, you could leave a place at 4 a.m., go to some place at 5. Like, it's just always busy. It's always moving. So if you're telling me you're going to start shutting lights off, that's not safe for people that are still into nightlife. There might be workers. That's not safe, man. And it's just, like, I get you're trying to save money and you're trying to save, it's really about money. It really can't be anything about like, oh, we care about. New York has never cared about like nature and wildlife. New York has never cared about that. Just if you go there, just go out there and smell the air. Like, they don't care about that stuff. They just started getting garbage barrels, like the ones you have at your house where you take, like, they just started implementing those. So it's like they don't really care about that. And maybe it has to be saving them money. But if you're asking me, is that going to be beneficial? No, because, I mean, we're going to tell the person who owns a hot dog stand he got to turn his lights down. He's a business. What do you tell the businesses that have these big signs that are advertising you to come there? It just doesn't make much sense to me. I think sometimes we can get a little carried away with what we want as laws, and I hope it don't pass. Now, granted, this might work in other places outside of New York City, but I don't think it would work in New York City or the 5 boroughs. Like, if you're saying floodlights, they got to be turned down or they're motion censored, I mean, damn, that's how people could get robbed. It don't make no sense. So I'm not really too fond of that idea, but it was something that I saw. All right, let's see what else we got. Yeah. What else we got? Yeah. We're gonna keep today short and sweet, y'all. Y'all. This was a man who for the first time I watched some shit and I said, God damn, bro, I feel bad. Humans are fucking stupid, yo. Look at this dude. It's a robot. So this video is of a robot and it's trying to cross the street because it's delivering an order. And instead of just pressing the fucking sign, like, I really felt bad for the robot. Like, dog, this is like some old weirdo white privilege shit. The robot don't got nothing to do with this. Like, this made me feel uncomfortable, and I'm not a robot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's saying, excuse me, please press the button or something. Like, look at this.
Huh? Hello, what do you want? What do you want? You want me to...
It says hello. It said hello. Let me read it again. It says hello, excuse me, please press the crosswalk button for me. Look, that's all it's asking. It's not even saying nothing. It's a robot. It's trying to deliver something. Look what it says.
You want me to press the button for you? You want me to press the button for you, Mingo? Fuck you. Press it yourself. You took a human's job and you want me to press the button for you? No, hello, fuck you.
And this be my thing, bro. People get on these high horses about taking jobs. Like, my nigga, were you gonna deliver this? Because if you weren't, then shut the fuck up. Like, I don't understand that shit, bro. If you weren't gonna do the job that it's replacing, then why are you complaining about it? It's just, it's tech. It's meant to be more effective. Were you gonna work at a cashier store? I get it that it's taking jobs. I get that working as a cashier, and going to the aisles where the people are paying is better than automated. But were you gonna do it? Because if you're not, then shut the fuck up.
Excuse you. Yeah, excuse you. I'm not pressing nothing. You press it. You sit there, you took a human's job, you take over our infrastructure, and then you want me to help you out? Go.
Like, this dude, like, they said this is the first robophobe. It says the first robophobe.
Fuck yourself. Go fuck.
He's robophobic.
Yourself. Press it yourself. Oh, that's right. You don't have fingers. You got the green light, but you can't go because you don't have the walk signal. But you don't walk, you roll. Well, that's too fucking bad. Again, it's a cold war. You can sit here all night. Tell whoever's food that is to come press the button for you.
Like, now you're making it someone else's problem. So this nigga's an idiot. So he's talking about how this is an issue for a human. You took a human's job, but it's a human that's on the other side of the receiving end of whatever this robot is delivering. To then tell the robot, tell the human to come do it themselves. It's like, bro, this dude is definitely an idiot, like a complete one. And I felt bad for this robot. So if this is what it's going to come to, I won't be surprised when robots get like the last pod where I was talking about how they'll gain consciousness. I won't be mad when they gain consciousness, start to be able to function and start to be able to feel emotions. And they just start killing some of these people. Like, dog, this is unnecessary.
It's not my problem. What the fuck you ever done for me?
Again, nigga, everything that you use is based off of zeros and ones. Your phone you're on is assistive technology. Everything you do, the cell phone took landline jobs. The cell phone took internet jobs. Like the Apple took Nextel and all these other companies and AT&T that was payphones. Cell phone took away the payphone. Like, you know, not the payphone. The cell phone, the unlimited plan on cell phones took away the minute plan that people were buying, which would essentially create more money if I have to pay $50 or $30 for a new plan every time this runs up. So everything is taking something. That's the part of evolution. Like, I don't really understand this, and this shit is just weird, bro.
Mingo's just fucking stuck. He got the green light, but he can't go because it doesn't have the walk signal. Not my problem. Not my problem.
I hope that this robot remembers this and he just turns the fuck up on this dude. Like, he just finds him and then just goes to his house. What a bunch of weirdo shit. All right, and then we're gonna end with a little bit. No, we're gonna end with this. This ain't. Oh, this is one of it too, right? Our nation. This was sent from the Marines. Our nation is. This is March 26th. Is in consequential moment. Global events are shaping our national security. Blah 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 blah. This is sent from, you know. This is sent from the military. But look at this shit. Tell me how y'all would feel about this shit. Look at this shit. So I'm gonna read the caption, and then I'm gonna narrate it. So Marion County School Resource Officer. So I found out Marion County is in South Carolina. So Marion County Resource Officer strikes student athlete in the head with a stun gun during a baseball game. So the player that he has is from another team. He's not from the team that the student resource officer works on. So cell phone footage and eyewitness accounts capture the event. So basically, if you're listening, what right now it's a old fat resource officer got a high school baseball kid choked up, got him in the yoke. Right? And he's holding the stun gun like he's pointing it at other people like it's a gun, and he's like, back the fuck up. So basically what happens is he takes the stun gun, yakata, hits him in his neck. Bang! And then everyone's like, you're gonna get, they're just like, you're gonna be fired, buddy. That's your job. I want to know how y'all would react to this. Shit. Look at this. Let me run it back. Damn. Listen, that shit is not funny. But when I first watched this shit, I say, yo, this nigga popped him right in the neck, bro. So that noise that you heard was the player getting gun butt by a stun gun. Young. All right, so listen. I'm not gonna play this any further. I'm just gonna. Well, I'm gonna finish it. I'm sorry. I gotta see it through. All right. So first of all, too much motherfucking talking. Oh shit! I wasn't sharing it. Damn, why didn't y'all tell me that? Oh, and I gotta share it. My fault. I'm sorry, y'all. Now I gotta play this again. I'm laughing and shit, and I'm laughing at the video. Look at this.
What? Bro, I'll tell you what. What the fuck's wrong with you? Do it! Hey, you just lost your job, homie. Get off my Andrew. Go down to your knees and quit resisting. Get out. Go to your knees, quit resisting. Where's the other fella?
All right, so first of all, they're doing extremely too much talking. Once I figured out this nigga has a stun gun, he's getting stole on. Fuck everything else. If this is my kid and I'm watching this nigga yoke him up and he's waving a stun gun around, nigga, he only got one of them. Sound like there's like 5-6 people out there. He got one of them stun gun shits. He gonna let that shit go, and we're gonna beat the fuck out of this old nigga because he gotta be fired. They're looking into and he got released until further notice. But dog, this is not even a school you're going to. So just imagine your player is the player's your son, and he's getting yoked up by the security guard. And I don't even know how it got to this point. I really don't care. But the simple fact that nobody stole on this nigga, like as the video continues, watch this.
That's ridiculous right there. Where's the other fella at, sir? Just because he's got a badge and a gun.
What you put in handcuffs?
Yeah, sir.
I got it.
As soon as he turned to the left and looked like this, his whole shit would have been swolled up. And that's the problem. These niggas is doing extremely too much talking with this dude. He's not a real cop. So he shouldn't even be doing the shit he's doing right now. He got this kid yoked the fuck up. I'm disappointed in these people. Because I know that if this was somebody else that was a different color that was doing this, his ass would have been dead or his ass would have been jumped. But because this old grandpa, whatever the fuck his name is, they think it's cool, or not even cool, but they're not doing anything. They're not reacting to it. It's like, okay, if I seen this, and again, let me tell you, because we're not gonna finish the video because we just saw it. If I was there and saw this, as soon as he turned like this, he's getting stolen, bro. Shit like that don't make no sense. But in all seriousness, the security guard, that's a deeper issue that we get into, like people who power trip. He had no business doing that. I'm 100% sure of that. There was nothing that could have been that severe, even if the case was, you know, they were fighting. There's nothing that severe where you have a kid and yoke the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So it's traumatizing, and I don't know what the kid was. I don't know his ethnicity, but I just know that the relationship between officers and citizens should be mended a lot better. School resource officers are normally not doing the most. They're normally pretty chill. They're normally retired cops or ex-cops or ex-something. This dude, he would have been clapped. And that's kind of what I don't really like about watching that clip. But with that being said, we're going to wrap this show up. We're going to wrap this episode up. This is episode 34 of the Work Show. Again, we're going to start changing the days. We're going to start doing them on, I'm going to start filming on Sunday, releasing audio Monday and video Tuesday, just to kind of get back in the swing. It's getting nice. I'm going to start going around interviewing people. So I got to get my setup right, but that's the plan. But thank you guys all for listening and tapping into the Work Show as we continue to roll. We're at episode 35. Just want to say peace out. Peace. All right, yo. Peace out.